My mother kept telling me, we have been in this land, always in this land. So we've been in this land forever. This is where I come from. This is my anchor. It's just something that our old timers told us, and that's our ancestors. Iwa ya ni yatastam sa samo. Because iwa ya iwa he needs to eat enough to eat to tamokhet humatwil. That we've always been here. We've been here for a long, long time. This is my whole life, my whole being is this land.
I think for a number of years, working in social planning in the city, really noticed that's this huge gap in terms of both our understanding and our relationships with local Aboriginal and First Nations community. So that's something we really need to respond to.
I've been here close to 42 years. Until 3 years ago, I had no idea about the Aboriginal contribution to where I call my home and where my children were born, and just such a rich history there that I had no idea about.
For us to really to get a better history out there for the newcomers, because the images they had of Canada before they arrived were just like the one that I had. We thought it was just a white country.
Our people have been here since time out of mind. We are not going anywhere. The city of Vancouver and probably 2 million people aren't going anywhere either. So we need to find a way to work together.
It's our pleasure to welcome you to the official launch of the Dialogues between First Nations, Urban Aboriginal and Immigrant Communities in Vancouver project.
Splits, Tashlimath Humathqui and Mudstale. Kasutats, amidst, Kutwilam.
Oisiam Tanoia, Siam and Siaya, Swishchaya Kushanam Sna, Himeltiston Hailed Milk. The Squamish, the Musqueam, the Lillooet, and the Tsleil-Waututh invited the world to our territories. So this is such a timely project.
Oisiam ni Siaya, I Tanishqualwin, Quatsi Quatsnala Ihi, Anta Ansachalot, Anta Mana Sandalia, Itziat Maxlahot Siam. My dear relatives and friends, the feelings I have inside are so good to see all of you here. And what I hope that we can work to achieve with this project is making space for those people who haven't had a voice for a very long time.
My ancestral name is Kayapalanoch. It was my great-great-great-great-grandfather, Kayapalanoch, the war chief, who met Captain Vancouver and Captain Narvaez off the shores of Point Grey. And it was here that he opened his arms and extended a welcome. I hope you learn the history of the Aboriginal people on whose lands that you've come to enjoy and to live on. So with that, on behalf of the Musqueam community, I say thank you and welcome to this territory.
1845, government recommends residential schools.
1892, church and state bond together to form residential schools.
1920, it is now mandatory for Aboriginal children to
1903, Chinese head tax increased to $500.
1907, anti-Asian riots in Vancouver's downtown area.
1914, the Kamagata Maru arrives in the bays of Vancouver. My people are not welcome here.
Caucasian women have the right to vote.
1970, Hoby's Alley, Vancouver's oldest black community, bulldozed to make way for Georgia.
1983, the last residential school closes in Tofino, BC.
1876, they think they own this land.
2010, they came back for more.
consider myself a proud Musqueam person, but I also am a proud descendant of a Chinese family, a proud descendant of a Norwegian family.
Our students, our children, my children, cannot go to school and learn a history that does not speak to them, that does not say who you are, does not give you a place in this land.
We have the honor of being recognized as the hub and gathering place of the urban Aboriginal community in Greater Vancouver. We serve a very diverse Aboriginal population.
We as Aboriginal people don't have a presence here in Vancouver. A lot of our history is buried and ignored.
I had some resentments about the residential school because I was denied the opportunity to practice or to speak my language and practice my culture. And for a long time, I really resented immigrants coming into our country, having the right to practice their culture, speak their language, dress in their traditional dresses. And it wasn't until I had the experience of being a citizenship court judge that I began to understand why they came to Canada.
These dialogues have, I think, set a precedent, and people across Canada are taking some notice of this. And I want to acknowledge our very special guest here tonight, the Right Honourable Clarkson, John Ralston Saul, who have come from far away across the land because I believe that they see the importance in these dialogues, not just for Vancouver, but for Canada.
Thank you to the Coast Salish people.
My own feeling must be echoed by lots of people coming to this country wondering, what is the Aboriginal nature of this country? As an immigrant child, I had a curiosity about it because, of course, we learned about Jack Cartier coming to Canada and the names, the Indian names for towns, and Hochelaga and Stadacona and so on. But where were they? It was as though they were like the Greeks and Romans. The ancient Greeks and Romans, they weren't there anymore. Their language wasn't there anymore. We didn't know anything about it. We didn't know we were on their land.
For 250 of the first 400 years since immigrants started coming here, really First Nations were dominant. They set the patterns. It was their philosophy that mattered, and the French and the Scots and the Irish and everybody adapted really to those methodologies. For the last 100 and some years, we've denied that reality, and we have busily eliminated the fundamental Canadian conversation between First Nations, and then First Nations and Métis, and eventually Inuit, and newcomers. And that conversation is what created the country. So to me, what's essential is to get that conversation going again, which this project does.
There's 8 consecutive circles going on throughout all over.
As a project,
First Voices.
Yes. You can.
It's Vancouver alone, right?
Having a dialogue session is a brilliant way to encourage people to get to know each other and to overcome differences and stereotypes that they may have about one another.
Going back to some of the things others have said.
The dialogue circles validated a few things for me. That I have a history that I should be very proud of, and that my story has value and it needs to be heard.
The dialogue circle also allowed me to gain more understanding of the Aboriginal culture and the history. It increased my thirst to learn more, and it connected me in an emotional way. it left me with a greater understanding of my lack of knowledge. And the more I learned through the dialogue, the more I realized the less I knew.
When I got to the dialogue circle, I got to hear from elders and got to really experience firsthand a better understanding of Vancouver.
I was so impressed listening to the stories in that dialogue circles of the struggles and the challenges that people took to come here, what they overcame, what they gave up. It was just fascinating to me. It was very rich and very rewarding.
When we gathered for the dialogue circles, we shared laughs, tears, stories, and even a song or two. After attending multiple circles from the different parts of Van City, it became very clear to me, even though we have our own beliefs and customs, when you look past skin color and religion, we're all just human beings. We all eat, we all sleep, and we all want to leave a better world for our children.
The dialogue circle was also important to me because it helped me understand the importance of dialogue. And dialogue really is to listen to people, to respect each other's views, to listen for understanding. And really, dialogue is to leave open future opportunities for further communication and conversations.
You only have to look around Vancouver to see the beauty and understand why this is home to our Coast Salish people. If you're going to come into someone else's home, you should probably know something about them. You should probably have a better understanding. And once you have that kind of understanding, then you won't think about whatever the stereotypes happen to be. Then you won't think about what is wrong. If you have a better understanding, you will look around and you will see what is right.
Using the arts, using ceremony and ritual as a way to bring people together, to share, their own traditions with one another. I think that you start to see the commonalities.
Traditionally, this is how cedar stripping would have been done, and it would have been done in the most utmost respectful way in regards to the life of the tree. It was giving a little bit of itself.
The territory runs from Point Atkinson's all the way up the Arm and into the Fraser Valley.
A lot of our history is documented through the dancing and through masks and through oral histories, and I think our art reflects that for people, even people who might not be aware of it when they're looking at it. I think they do realize that they are witnessing something, and what they're witnessing is our record keeping of our history.
You saw the list of many nations. The continent of North America, it looks like a giant turtle. And so many of the indigenous people in North America see the continent we live on as Turtle Island.
First of all, we want everybody to know that we haven't disappeared, that we haven't gone in extinction. Because as you know, in the world of anthropology, in the world of archaeology, in the world of history, the Maya disappeared mysteriously 2,000 years ago. They mysteriously abandoned. So first of all, we didn't. We are still here. And so that's the first thing that we want people to know about us.
I took my parents to some of the ceremonies that had happened, some of the naming ceremonies. And the first time I took my dad to one of those, he goes, "That's like what we do. That's like what we do." And there was this real kind of, he felt this real connection to that community, to the Squamish community, because of these kind of shared values.
Now it's two families in the same place. And this is something that's often still in the memory of quite a few families now and the children, is that all of a sudden there's that other wife. Okay, why don't we gather up here? To focus on the retention, you could say, or the passing on of trying to call it all. So you can also go around the other way. You don't want to go too dark.
I truly believe that art and visual culture are very powerful tools and a wonderful way to bring people together and to definitely heal the disconnect that happens, because it really is a place to help people come together and get to know one another and really have a deeper appreciation for humanity.
If the children don't really know their parents' history, who they belong to, where they come from, what they come from, then it's a real challenge. But once you know all of that, and people can't change your life story. They can make you move in a different way, but they cannot change your life story. So that you walk around with that history in your head, and you have confidence in yourself.
I hope that, discrimination will stop at some point, that we can all live in the city as one people, and because it's something that we really need to practice.
Our ancestors, Tsleil-Waututh and Tsleil-Waututh, were here to greet the very first visitors to this land. And I also want to do the same this evening and raise my hands in welcome to all of you here.
We know that strong communities where cultural diversity is valued and celebrated, where all citizens can live, work, and thrive is a critical component of what it takes to move British Columbia forward.
So I'm thankful for all of you being here and staying committed to making sure the stories are told between all of our cultures here, and we respect our past, and we dream big about our future. Thank you very much.
Concrete stereotypes, they are fragments, written on skin in the language of blood. Willing to listen, willing to learn. Yeah!
So dialogue happens when we all together bring our voices in harmony.
This is a blessed land, and the people that maintained it and kept it for us to come in and be able to set up shop, for the lack of a better word, are the First Nations.
If more people are aware that there are people who want to pursue this and really create a more just and better society, a more happy society, a happier society, because we know each other, we recognize each other, and we know that we don't have to be white to have a place in the sun. And that is what personally I like to see our children would feel, that there's room for everyone.
This is just the beginning, a step towards new relationships, coming together as Aboriginal people, as Canadian people, and as new Canadian people.
Our people are welcoming, our people are open. At the bottom of it all, our people understand that we are people. We all are human beings. We're in this all together. There needs to be a way for us to work together. All of the things that are happening in the society as a whole are happening to my community too.
And now that we're all here, we might as well sing together.